In the summer of 1994, director Franco Zeffirelli assembled an extraordinary international team to film one of the most famous love stories of all time, Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, with the young Anglo-French actress Charlotte Gainsbourg as Jane, and Oscar winner William Hurt as Rochester. Jane Eyre boasts an all-star cast with Joan Plowright, Anna Paquin, Billy Whitelaw, Fiona Shaw, Geraldine Chaplin, Maria Schneider, and Elle Macpherson.
You can always tell a governess at first glance. They're playing in a very special way.
Behind the camera, there's an Oscar-winning crew, from screenwriter Hugh Whitemore to lighting cameraman David Watkin. Franco Zeffirelli has created a classic new version of Jane Eyre, a love story for all time.
This film is a great English classic, done entirely in England, with an American star, an Anglo-French girl, and there is a New Zealander wonder girl, which is this Anne Paquin.
Okay. Blind to 94, take one.
Classics are contemporary. They're always contemporary because they find a human proportion. They find the classic proportion.
I once had a heart full of tender feelings. But fortune has knocked me about. Now I'm hard and tough as an India rubber ball.
With Charlotte Gainsbourg, because she's that kind of extraordinary, intense presence that really doesn't play with you at all. Though she's not literally a beautiful girl, she becomes so splendidly beautiful because of her inner spiritual beauty.
My son, who's 18, came down to watch some of the shooting and met Charlotte and said to me, as we walked away from the set, well, she is Jane Eyre, he said.
I think a love story always is the same. The only thing that is very much into the period is, and it is very important in the book, is the relationship between masters and servants, governesses, all of that.
I love you. Say you love me.
I love you more than ever. But this is the last time I shall ever say it. I was touched by the strength and the fact that when children go through a lot of tough things, they get out with a skin that's thicker.
Mr. Brocklehurst is an evangelical minister who runs an orphanage, and he believes that less is more, less clothes, less food, less love, less everything.
Out of the way, Grace.
Be careful, sir. He's a bit snappish. She's seen you, sir. You'd better not stay.
We'd better leave.
You stay here! This is my wife. Your sister, Mason. Look at her. She is mad. So was her mother. So was her grandmother. 3 generations of violent lunacy. I wasn't told about that, was I, Mason?
The sets and the production designers and the costumes, wonderful, really wonderful, first class. They got it absolutely right. We found marvelous locations, and they've been able to blend what we built in the studio with what we shot on location.
Jane Eyre is a kind of universal character. Every girl on earth at some time or other, in some way, can identify with Jane.
Because quite often, I think, a story like Jane Eyre touches something in the heart of people more than just the narrative. There's something about this girl and her struggle to find love and her own sense of identity.
These pictures must have taken much time and thought. When did you do them?
In the last 2 vacations I spent at Lowood.
Did you copy them?
No, sir, they came out of my head.
That head I see now on your shoulders?
Yes, sir. She puts such a strong barrier in front of other people, a defensive barrier.
It's well known that women are attracted to a man who's in pain.
Feels as though I had a string tied here under my left rib where my heart is. Tightly knotted to you in a similar fashion.
And really, Mr. Rochester and Jane Eyre are a kind of Romeo and Juliet, though they are not an ideal couple.
You examine me, Miss Eyre. Do you think me handsome?
No, sir.
I think it's a great, great work of art. And to have the chance, you know, the privilege to delve into it and to spend time with it and think about it and be with other artists is, just a thrilling experience, really.
Jane Eyre lives, survives all the storms she has been through in her life, and in the end she triumphs positively, all right.
I'm so astonished. I feel I must have been dreaming. I thought Mr. Rochester came in here and said that in a month's time you were to be his wife.
He said the same to me.
In terms of playing, a hero, I let the structure of the work make the hero. I don't ever think of him that way. He's a human being or a character.
She is better off here than she would be in a lunatic asylum, but I have spent the last 15 years in torment.
And yes, he rises out as a great romantic figure.
He has all the extravaganzas, all the nasty amusements and the cruelty and the desperate need for something real, something pure.
You have saved my life. I am in your debt.
There is no debt, no obligation.
I knew you would do me good in some way at some time. I saw it in your eyes when I first beheld you.
I'm glad I happened to be awake.
When Dyson Lovell, the producer, I remember we had dinner one night, and he said, "I think it's going to be William Hurt and Charlotte Gainsbourg," and I thought that was the most wonderful casting, because it seemed to me that they had us, as people, they seemed to have an extraordinary magic, and together I think it's perfect.
Quiet, please. And action.
Please come in. I wrote to you because your aunt is most anxious to see you. The family's in great trouble, Miss Eyre. John Reed, your cousin, died last month at his chambers in London.
He died? How?
They say he ruined his health with bad company.
Cut. Excellent.
Charlotte, who I'm working with at the moment, and most of my scenes are with her. In fact, all my scenes are with her. I think she has a look which is very, very useful for Jane, which is puritanical and self-denying and suffering. And of course, for somebody like St. John, that's deeply attractive.
There's a rich talent there and a great courage. And, I mean, courage to play really close to the bone. You can't teach that. You can't, it's just an honor to work with someone who's that honest in their work.
You're a fool.
Grace Poole is one of these strange creatures. Grace Poole, to me, has eyes and ears all over her body. There is nothing that goes on in this house that this woman does not know about. And actually, it is the menace that Jane Eyre feels when she comes to the house. She senses there is a menace in the house, and with damn good reason, but she thinks it's Grace Poole.
I heard someone laughing.
If I were you, miss, I'd get into the habit of bolting my door when I went to bed at night.
I've been all my life in love with this novel. So later on in my life and career, I began to think of the marvelous classics that I've known in my youth. And Jane Eyre was one that has always been with me, and very often, innumerable times, I've thought of, fancied the idea of making a film of it. But like everything in life, only when all the stars gather and meet, something happens.
I went to the book, and I just, began to be blown away by it.
Love is what we're all stumbling around looking for.
He cannot live without her. At the end, it's the only thing that he dreams about is Jane Eyre.
Let me go.
Be still. Don't struggle so you're like a wild bird clawing at its cage.
I'm no caged bird. I'm a free human being. Independent, with a will of my own.
Then stay. Stay and marry me.